The old manor stood silent, stoic against the backdrop of twilight's descent. Inside its walls, two brothers, Andrew and Tom, found themselves face to face for the first time in years. The atmosphere was tinged with an icy tension as they convened upon the reading of their father's will. Andrew, the elder by 2 years, had always been the more reserved of the two. He carried himself with an air of responsibility, perhaps honed by years of managing the family's business affairs. Tom, on the other hand, was brash, driven by spontaneity, a trait that often led to reckless decisions. Their relationship had fractured when Tom refused to join the family business and instead pursued his own ambitions. The death of their father, Reginald Sloane, had brought them to the manor once more, each burdened by conflicting expectations. Andrew hoped for a fair division of the estate, while Tom felt entitled to a greater share, to compensate for what he deemed as sacrifices for his freedom. As they sifted through Reginald's belongings, familiar arguments began to bubble up. Accusations of favoritism and betrayal echoed throughout the halls. Each felt wronged by the other's choices and perceived slights, but neither was willing to concede. It was amidst this bitter exchange that Andrew stumbled upon a small, weathered chest. Inside, there was a single envelope, sealed with a wax crest. Recognizing their father's handwriting, Andrew hesitated before calling Tom over. The brothers opened the letter together, its contents penned in their father's familiar, elegant script. "My sons," it began, "I have watched you both grow with wide eyes and a heart filled with hopes and regrets. As you read these words, know that my legacy is not the wealth and land I leave, but the bonds I hope to heal." Reginald spoke of the realities he'd kept hidden, his regrets, his doubts, the love he had for both his sons despite their differences. He revealed a startling truth, an old family disagreement that had shaped not just his life, but Andrew's and Tom's. There had been tense moments in Reginald's past with his own sibling, leading to decisions that affected his son's upbringing when Reginald chose to distance himself from his brother. "It is not what I own that I leave you," the letter concluded, "but the chance to reshape your future together, to mend what has for too long been allowed to fray." Stunned, the brothers sat in silence, processing what these words meant. As the silence stretched, Andrew reached out, placing a hand on Tom's shoulder. Tom looked up in surprise, meeting Andrew's eyes, and realized there was an admission behind that gesture, an acknowledgement of shared pain. Time passed as they spoke long into the night, unraveling stories they had kept to themselves for too long. With each word, the bitterness began to seep away, replaced by a flicker of hope and connection. Reginald's final wish, a legacy of redemption, slowly took root, changing everything they had believed about each other and their fractured past. With each word, the bitterness began to seep away, replaced by a flicker of hope and connection. Reginald's final wish, a legacy of redemption, slowly took root, changing everything they had believed about each other and their fractured past.